believe his wife.
Well,
Oh God.
today is Seafood Monday.
She don't like that camera skip.
I had to leave this morning, go pay some guys off for doing some work this weekend, and we stopped by and got some boiled shrimp. See, there they are right there. Stacy them peeled them up, and we stopped by Pearl's. She got her a cold beer to drink with it, and we stopped by. Today is Boiled Shrimp Monday, and we just sitting here reminiscing about our trip Saturday. We did have a good time, didn't we, Pearl?
It did.
Yeah, you ain't got to pull that down.
No.
You ain't got to worry about no COVID. I ain't got no COVID.
No, I ain't thinking about no goddamn COVID.
But yes, we had a good time Saturday.
Yes, it was really nice.
Now look here, I didn't get it when I was recording, but tell me again about the Siamese twins at McDonald's.
No.
Yeah.
No, when we passed Walter Wayne.
I woke up hearing that.
Yeah.
And James was saying that was the first McDonald's, and I remembered that. And I remember they said hi, and I got ready to go in there, and they had these gospel singers. They were black girls, and they were Siamese twins. They were joined by the top of their head.
Ooh.
And I can remember going to McDonald's,
Yeah.
and those two ladies, those two young girls walked out, and it scared the hell out of me.
Bad.
It did. I mean, because here they are, these two people, and they walking their heads stuck together. That just really did.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did James know who you was talking about? I can't remember.
He know, yes, he do.
Yeah, you remember
He knew exactly
that.
who I was talking about. They were gospel singers. As a matter of fact, we went by the Bell Auditorium that they show on there. Those young ladies sing there. They was
Yeah.
gospel singers and could sing, but it just scared the shit out of me. I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Lucky you.
Yeah, right.
But
Skip, turn off that camera. I get so sick of you with that damn phone. That
I'm trying to remember some stuff now that we didn't record. Okay, the Siamese twins connected at the head. I remember that. We went by where this black woman was buried at. What was that?
Lucy Laney. That's Lucy Laney High School.
Lucy Laney High
She,
School.
Mrs. Laney is buried in the schoolyard, right there in front of the gymnasium. Her grave is there.
Mm.
And she started the first what they call it, Haynes Institute. It was
Yeah.
Haynes Institute before it was Lucy Laney.
Mm.
See, I remember all that stuff like that. They had pictures of Miss Esther McIntyre. That was our first black mayor's mom.
Yeah.
She was a minister. I just remember a whole lot. It brought back a whole lot of childhood memories and stuff.
Yeah.
On that.
What was so good though was James, the driver. Y'all y'all remembered stuff.
We knew stuff that even our tour guide, the granddaughter, she's a kid, but she didn't know a lot of stuff. It's way more to that tour.
Yeah.
You notice not said because we went through like they showed the churches that James Brown. She said he loved Church's chicken and how he would buy that chicken. But right there where that chicken place that he loved Church's chicken, when you go down 9th Street, right there to the left, they say that Leon Austin taught James to play the piano. Leon Austin also did James Brown hair. He had a barber shop right there, and we used to see him just there with all the men with the suits and stuff, and they dressed down and everything. And then they had a club across the street from it that they used to go to that's no longer there, was a mentioned club, DeSoto. You know, and then right a couple of doors from that club, DeSoto, was the Lenox Theater. They just bypass that and don't mention that. It should have a marking or something, I think.
So a lot of real history about James that she didn't know about this year.
Right, and it's not even keyed in that because it's no longer there. Like the Lenox Theater that I talk about is a vacant lot now because they didn't try to refurbish or try to do anything with it, and it was torn down. And to me, the theater was so huge, but when you ride by there, it seemed like the lot is so small.
Yeah, it did look small.
It do, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was a huge theater. It had the balcony, it had down on the floor, And then it had the balcony upstairs. And every Saturday we would go and you didn't pay money to get in the theater or RC Cola. You had a bottle cap from the RC Cola. That's what you give to go in the movie theater. And they used to give bicycles away, and it'd be full of kids. And I had pictures of it I lost from the newspaper with, and I was trying to find myself in there because I was every Saturday I was there.
Yeah.
Where they be giving away bikes. I had a bicycle. It was just exciting, you know.
Yeah.
And James Brown performed. He performed down there and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of history. It's a lot of history.
But watching you and James, the driver, reminisce about, he like to run off the road. He would laugh so hard sometimes.
Right, and you know, right there at the courthouse on 9th Street, James brought about a club that used to sit there. I remember my mom going there, and I went there as my brother. But right there where the courthouse is, John Ruffin Courthouse, right there on 9th Street, where that courthouse is the place, and I can't think of the man's name that owned it. But James Brown used to shine shoes right there on 9th Street, right there in front of John Ruffin. Yeah. And on down, I asked James if he remember Mr. Pokey.
Yeah.
It was a store that sat there on 9th Street and had the canal right by it. And that just brought up a lot of stuff. And in that same area where the courthouse is, this man used to stop me all the time as a kid because my father I haven't seen since I was 5.
Oh,
And,
wow.
every time I passed there, he used to tell me, he used to go in and show me this bag. But my dad had long hair. And
He had that good hair.
he cut my dad's hair. He kept it in a bag because he had so much hair. He couldn't believe that he got it cut off like that. He used to show me little. I think every time he saw me, he would call me and show me that. You know, it's all my memories, all my really childhood memories, right, is in the thick of it because that's the area I came up in. I left that area once my mom passed. When my mom passed and my grandma took on the great deal of taking all us in, which took her down. But all my memories from my early childhood.
And that's your mama right there,
My
right?
mom and dad.
Mom and dad. Let me swell this thing up.
Yeah,
So
that's
right,
my mom and
good
dad.
shot of it. Right there.
I don't know him, and God allowed me a little time with her.
And you
And
look
I
just
think-
like your mama.
And I think on that picture, I think my mom was dead within 10 years of taking that picture.
Really?
I think my mom was about 22 when she took that picture right there because when she passed, she was 32.
Because you look, when I first saw it, I thought it was a picture of you.
Okay, but that's my son's friend did too. He said, you're going to get fussed at about that picture, taking that picture with that man. I said, that's not me. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, that's not me. So he sat there for a while and he kept looking at the picture. He look at me and he look at the picture and then a little while, he told me, Miss Pearl, that is you. I said, that's not me, that's my mom.
Yeah.
And it just overwhelmed him and then he started staring at it. And I didn't never notice that, but my son that just recently got married, Marcus, he don't look like my dad per se to me, but all of that right there, that mouth part and all of that is, my son had that from his granddad.
Yeah.
I don't know the man though.
Yeah.
And I have, it was 8 of us. I was the second oldest to 8 kids. And just to imagine, if I haven't seen him since I was 5, how many kids he had after he left here, and I'm the oldest. My brother, which was a year older than me, is deceased, but I'm the oldest of all the kids that he had after he left here.
Right.
And I know nothing about him.
Well, ain't it where you can go to
Ancestry.
Ancestry?
I think it's like about $500.
Yeah.
It's about $500 to start it off. I know a young lady that did that, and she's a young lady that I'm very proud of. And she went back and she found her dad's people, and it's amazing that the picture she has. She looks just like her grandma.
Yeah.
Her son looks like her daddy.
Mm.
I mean, it's amazing how she did that. I think it ended up costing her about between $500 and $800 to get all of it together.
Well, I just have to guess who my folks is, and that's a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met one young man when I was working at Fort Gord. His last name was Collins, and I knew that's my maiden name. And when I looked at him, it was just something about him. He looked like my brother that's deceased, and he just looked like a couple of my brothers and stuff. And we would call each other brother and sister. And I meant to get with him because he was even from the area that my dad was from.
Mm.
But he was, what's that? Oh, what is the dang name of it? They where they go AIT, where the soldiers come to train.
Right.
And he got away from me before we could get it together because we were supposed to sit down and talk. Because at the end of the day, he had too much resemblance to my brothers for me to say that was not my blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I never did get a chance to. You know, we never did get a chance to get that together. That's the flaw my daughter-in-law made.
I was touching it.
My daughter-in-law made me that.
It's
for my
pretty.
Son, for my
It's
son,
pretty.
father's passing.
And then at the end of the day, you had such a good time, you left your damn keys in the
But I
van,
didn't
didn't you?
mean to leave the keys. You didn't have to let the world know that I'm forgetful with the keys, but I couldn't believe that. I was just so excited when I got off the bus.
Mm.
I just hate the fact that we didn't take a group picture because
Yeah. It's like everybody knew everybody did, wasn't it?
The atmosphere was just so great.
Yeah.
It was just so great, and the people. I know it's the Henrys and the couple from Miami and all that, but we sat there and laughed and talked like we knew each other for years.
Yeah.
And we didn't even exchange nothing. That's why I hate that we didn't get a
Yeah,
group
you
picture.
didn't exchange it.
Because the spirits on there, we sat and laughed and talked like we just got together as friends and went
Oh.
on that to it. That's what it felt like.
Like a bunch of friends that
And
knowed
it
each other for a
was-
long time, got on there together.
Right, and
Yeah.
it was something. It was nothing I would have ever did, just on my own. I don't think I would have. I see Augusta like one of the couple from Lithuania asked me how long had I been here. I said all my life. No, I'm lying. It wasn't the couple from Lithuania. It was the couple from Miami.
Miami.
And
Mm.
asked how long I had been here, and I said all my life. So it was nothing really exciting because I see this all the time. But just they were so excited that it made me excited.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But James, he got a lot of love. It took him, to me, in my personal opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but it took what New York City and Apollo, it took what they did to make Augusta really and truly stand up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong if I am, forgive me, but that's just how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Because they took a man's deeds and what they saw and what they wanted, what the news and stuff wanted to make public. They didn't never look at the real stuff and the heart clenching stuff that he did.
Yeah.
Because he was a giver. His granddaughter talked about that. And that's what he did. As a matter of fact, my oldest daughter talked to a young man that I was amazed when he told me that. He still had the copy of where James saw him walking. And it was cold. He was in his car. He stopped. He gave him a coat. He gave him, I think he gave him like a check. He had a copy of. He gave him a suit of clothes and he gave him a coat to put on.
Yeah.
And it was watching him walk down the street.
A lot of people don't know about those stories like that, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, about James' kindness.
But he did what he did. He was strict in what he did as far as it coming to his profession, his music and his musicians and stuff. Everybody talk about it, that fine man, his granddaughter.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
because he would fine you for the little or nothing.
He was serious about that performing,
Yes,
wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
And nobody could move like him except Michael Jackson, and that overwhelmed me. Now that overwhelmed me with his passing, and I just looked for good gobs of entertainers to be here. I just knew it was going to be off the Richter, but it wasn't that way. It was some that came through, but the one that made it all right for none of the rest ashore was the fact that Michael Jackson actually came to Little Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
He came to Augusta and he had an admiration for him.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot. It brought back a lot of stuff. It was really nice. It was really nice.
You think the bad press that James got over the years is what kept some of the performers from actually coming and wanting to be associated with a memory of James Brown?
No, I don't think it was the bad press, because at the end of the day,
Or they just didn't appreciate James?
right, it really didn't. I don't think that was it. I think they just didn't really take out the time, cause the press is the press. They're gonna take a little news if it's something that they're gonna reach out and grab somebody. They're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
But that's mainly what they want to do. Here in Augusta, it seems like because he was from here, they wanted to make the bad press.
Yeah.
But in New York, where he's not from, because like I said, when James was home, James was home.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think it's just people off in New York and all the other places that he did. They didn't know that every day, James
Yeah.
Brown. So
Yeah.
they, you know, it took them by heart more than it did, you know, here in Augusta. But he had a lot of love here in Augusta. But to me, it was just that, and like I said, and I'm not biting my tongue from it, I think James was honored here in Augusta like he was because of the reception that
He got at the Apollo and
that
all.
New York,
Yeah.
that New York did. I think that's what it was.
Mm.
You know, and that movie, I did come home and look at the movie,
Mm.
and it overwhelmed me just like what Aunt Honey that
Mhm.
was in the movie. Never knew anything about her, but we went by the little places of what, a motorcycle shop now?
Yes, a motorcycle club.
I would really have loved to seen her. I seen a picture of her. I seen the young lady that played her in the movie, but I would have liked to seen a picture of his Aunt Honey that his dad left him with when he got ready to go out to the war.
Mm.
You know, and I guess I was wrong. I didn't think they had moved Trinity, but obviously they did. You could tell from the bricks. But I mean, I didn't see but they said ground contamination from the gas.
Right.
Because James knew about the big gas tank.
Mhm.
People don't know that, and I know his granddaughter might know of it. No, I don't think she knew of
Yeah.
that gas tank.
But you and James did.
Yeah, we knew. I stayed right there by it. I was so afraid of that thing. In my mind, it was gonna blow up in the stomach every day. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they say that's why they moved the church. But I didn't think they did, but obviously they were right.
Yeah.
Because you could see the bricks cracked. And I don't understand why it's still standing there, because Trinity now is up on Glen Hill Drive.
It's actually right across from a black funeral home now, ain't it? Ain't that a black funeral home?
No, it's on Glen Hill Drive.
No, where we went. No, that was the swimming pool. We saw the swimming pool and all. That's right across the street.
That's before we got to the church. That swimming pool is on 9th Street at Dice Park.
Just across from that funeral home with an old car that they park out front. You remember?
No, you talking about Mays?
I don't know the name of the funeral home, but I think
It's
it's a.
Mays Funeral Home, but it's further down from where Dice is further down. We passed that before that.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
passing by. Cause that's when we was coming out. When James's niece said, or granddaughter said, it's the hood. When we
Yeah, it's a lot of the hood. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the majority of
when we went by the old school
But
and everything.
Mays, the funeral home that you're talking about
Yeah.
is, James probably had some ties in that. He might have knew Mr. Mays. And, as a matter of fact, that funeral home was owned by another mayor of Augusta, Willie Mays. His mom and dad ran it, and after they passed, he got it. And he passed a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have a center a couple of blocks from me. They have a center that is named from his mother. His mother's name is Carrie Mays. She was on the pictures at Lucy Lane Museum when we went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, wasn't it,
It
Pearl?
was a great time. Now I'm still enjoying it. See, I'm all calm on the damn camera.
Yeah. You doing good, Pearl?
talking to you now. But yeah, it was great. It brought in James. I think James, our driver, put the icing on the cake, so to speak. It felt good. It just felt it was a good feeling for me because I knew him personally, but in passing, and we had spoken. We've had several drinks or something together at the club, and but I
Yeah.
knew him from then, but we were able to talk. And he was in that age range where he knew a lot of stuff that, that I knew. So it was just, it took me back to a kid almost.
I hear ya.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn this thing off and eat these shrimp.
Damn
I
stupid.
heard that.